Hey guys, what's up? How you doing? I'm Yalek, and it is Monday, and I'm not going to annoy you with a Lieutenant Hammerman video. I just wanted to do a quickie video about RCZM, which still continues to run the world with the cryobomb is now gone, and that's a sad thing because, man, that was spectacular. But with the very cheap critters, RCZM just still seems to be the way to go, and it is beyond question overpowered right now. And I was actually just thinking, because I just failed on a base, just started clearing my map, and so as you can see, RCZM there, RCZM there, that's just an NPC, RCZM there, RCZM there, but that was just a test attack. I was, seeing how much I could destroy, and then when I destroyed him, RCZM there. Actually just failed, and I failed on this guy, Alaska Joe, and I'm going to go back and try him again. Here's how you know when a strategy is overpowered. A strategy is overpowered when you just go to it as a default, regardless. It sort of takes the strategy out of strategy. Down at the lower level last night, I was just bored, basically, on my 46 account, and so I just wanted to boom beach. I wanted to blow things up, and so I just stayed up late attacking resource bases. I don't even care about the resource bases. I just wanted to attack something, and in so doing, some of my resource bases I brought Sparky along. Mainly I used Hookah in a couple cases. On one I used AZ, on one I used Grank Med actually. Some hits I was using Brick, Battle Orders. So the whole point of a strategy game is to strategize, meaning you try to find an optimal attack style in any given situation. This guy, Alaska Joe, very smartly has a laser out because RCZM, critters aren't good with lasers. RCZM is terrible with lasers. Lasers just suck in general, and I probably should have one out too, but I don't, and I don't know why. Regardless, good for Alaska Joe, he has one out. But I decided, despite his laser, screw it. I'm going to go in RCZM, and I'm going to try him anyway, knowing full well that this was not the ideal approach. And it's, so I failed. I mean, everybody fails. But it's not so much that I failed, it's that I failed but came extremely close. Speaking of which, before we do anything else, let's do that. Probably a little late now, but, don't need a phone call or anything. So knowing that the situation did not call for RCZM, still used RCZM. And that's when a strategy, and came close, honestly. This boom cannon was still standing. I had a handful of Zookas left at the end. Took a little field trip back here, got his shield down. That sucked, by the way. I couldn't see what was going on because of these trees. So I had no idea where my troops were. The mortar fired. I was terrified. Is it shooting at my Zookas? Is it shooting at critters? I don't know. Anyway, got the shield down. He does have this Doom back here, and so I really needed Everspark to stay alive. So I tried throwing critters. All of this stuff in here was all cleared out. This Boom and the Doom were my main problems, and I just needed the passive critters. I had one more critter box, and I ended up getting a second critter box, but I had one critter box, and so I tried to throw it before Everspark got targeted, and it was too late. The Boom shot her, and so she died, so I didn't have the passive critters. Had I had the passive critters, I probably would have taken this base down. After that, the other critter box, it really didn't matter. That was too little too late. The Zookas ended up getting zapped, and yeah. But it's not so much that the strategy didn't work, it's that the strategy shouldn't have worked in the first place, but still almost did. That's overpowered. Anyway, I'm going to come back to him, and here again, I just scouted this fella. This guy he's RCZM. Excuse my language on the bass note. I was a little annoyed. I'm always a little annoyed when I fail. Here again, we have a laser. And here again, and he also has a hotpot out front. And here again, I'm still going to use RCZM, because every base I look at right now, unless it's an obvious warrior rush, is going to be RCZM, because RCZM is incredibly overpowered. Honestly, the biggest problem that I see with this guy's base is that his mines are going to be really annoying. But we're going to BART those. Oh, there's a hit I have to show you. It's the 114 guy earlier. Stupidest base layout I have ever seen, but let's try this first. He's got a hot pot, but that hot pot is in a weird position right out front, so I will be able to use critters to pop that up. And the strategy is just going to be to shock continually. This stuff in the middle of the base, I should be able to keep shocking right in the middle of that and get all of the towers that I don't like. We're going to use barrage over here with the GBE boost. We can throw 3 barrages, and that doesn't run us out of GBE right now, because you got to have some in your hand to work later. Oh, is that not down? Really? Okay. So let's see. We still have a rocket back there. We're going to throw 1 more GBE on that, and we're going to let it wait for a minute, because I want to keep what I've got for other things. Now, I already know that the laser stops around that statue storage, so it's not going to start firing, and I don't have to worry about the critters activating it until at least there. So what we're going to do is pop that up. Perfect. That shock mine is actually helpful to me in that situation. And now we're going to start shocking, because now the laser is going to be an issue. And as you see, that shock can encompass all of those splash damage towers in that area that I would want to hit. And now we have plenty of GBE in hand, and so we can start working on that back rocket launcher, which we left earlier. And how are we doing on that? So more cheap critters, just popping mines with the cheap critters, which is awesome. And it is a pity the cryobomb's away, because that's a wonderful, wonderful thing to have in a situation like this. It's like having a bunch of extra shocks, and as soon as that rocket launcher goes down, we're good to go. Rocket launcher, shock launcher. And then we can just start working towards the HQ. Don't need to bother with a shield here. Critters are still only at 7 apiece. Unreal. Such a great try boost. And I also have, now they have finally gotten more expensive than a critter bot or a critter swarm from Everspark. And at this point, we're just using them to run interference while our troops clean up. Pop, 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 pop. A little bit over there would be great. That mortar is kind of annoying. So now we can pull back over here. Nothing over there to the left can range us. And this one mortar is mainly going to be working on critters. The medics, actually that one mortar can range the medics, but they're just healing themselves up. And already we're burning through the shield that fast. Yeah, definition of overpowered when it shouldn't be your go-to, and it still is, and it still works. He's got his, I mean, honestly, maybe if he had 2 lasers out, I wouldn't have considered that, but he just had the one, and one is especially, like, given the placement next to splash damage towers like that, where I could throw a shock on all of them, it's not enough. It's just not enough right now, because this strategy is just too strong. Alright, this one that I showed earlier, this was just a test. Watch this. Look at this base. This base is unreal. This is the stupidest thing I have ever seen in my life. And I'm just going to let you look at that for a second. And if you don't see what the problem is already, I hope you do. Okay. So I'm looking at this base, and I just, like, I gasped a little bit. I'm like, oh, you are kidding. So, like I said, right now I can throw 3 barrages economically, cheaply, because of the extra, not cheaply, but it doesn't run me out of GBE to do that. Now, this guy, so he has put 2, as people often do, he's put 2 of his splash towers right next to each other. So I can start barraging those 2, and I can barrage them together. The damage from one is going to cross over to the other, so I'm getting twice the effect, or extra effect, on top of the barrage, that extra area damage. And very, very stupidly, he has put this rocket launcher right out front of the base, where I need no more than 10 GBE to take care of it. 1 for a shock, and right now 2 for critters, and that thing will be dead before that first shock is over. So I can take care of those. I can take care of this with just 10 GBE left in my hand, and that means these 2 rockets right here, I need no GBE to take care of that 5th tower, and these 2 are very easy to address together. So this means I can just run all of my GBE out, basically, taking care of the ranged towers at the back, the splash damage towers. So I've already killed 2 rocket launchers to the side, and now we're going to do the same, just throwing barrages all over the place, because normally I wouldn't do that. Normally I would just try to conserve some GBE and work into a base manually. In this case, I can run myself down to little or nothing. So there's the critters, there's the shock. He's also made it handy for me by putting 2 machine guns within the area of that shock. And we're getting a little low at the end of this shock timer, but there it goes, pops very quickly. Once my troops actually get there to address that shock launcher, just its health just dissipates. And then that's it. He has no more serious range damage left. I'm just, cleaning up with some orders, machine guns. There's some flames in there, but that stuff is, especially with these critters right now, that stuff is all easily addressable. Is that a word? I don't know. I don't want to say easy to approach. Definitely not approachable. You don't want to approach a flamethrower, but I don't know. Whatever the word is I'm looking for here, that stuff is all pretty easy to handle and manage. And at this point, my troops are just walking. I'm not even really doing a whole lot with them, no, not guiding them or flaring them, just, throwing distractions as needed. At least these didn't even need the shield here, but this troop of rifles just decides to wander off for some reason, and they end up going after the shield ultimately. But just didn't even, don't need to call them back, don't need their damage, don't need much of anything. Just sit there and let them walk and try not to get them shot too much. That's it. One of the stupidest things I've ever seen in my life, and it made me so happy. Anyway, I'm going to get back to Alaska Joe, because he got to go down too. And honestly, you can see how it's marked. Oops, again with the language. You can see how it's marked. It doesn't even matter. I'm going to get him, and I'm going to get him this way, because I don't even need to bother any other way. So, RCZM just owns Boom Beach right now, and I hope, I don't know, like my my victory points, I was about 40 points lower before this whole RCZM month. The last tribe cycle was great for RCZM, had the rifle boost and the medic boost. And then we got the cryobomb, and we got the tribe boosts for RCZM went away, but we got extra gunboat energy and the critter reduction plus the cryobomb. And just so pretty much it'll end up being a month straight of just RCZM destroying everything, and my VP has just been climbing every single day. I keep having to clean screenshots out of my storage because I have these old screenshots of my new VP high, and I don't want them to just hang around, and so I keep just the most current screenshot, and I keep having to update it like daily and hourly, because there's pretty much no one you can't beat right now with RCZM. Anyway, hope you liked the video, and hope things are going as well for you as they are for me. I'm Yalek. If you feel the need, drop me a comment and say hi. Give me a thumbs up if you do like the video, and I have to go do stuff and beat Alaska Joe. I'm out. Take care.